How would you feel if the next time you sat down on the toilet, something furry brushed up against your bum? It's not very common, but it does happen. Every once in a while, an animal can turn up in your toilet. I'll leave you to imagine how surprising that could be. Just what animals could be lurking in your loo, and how on earth do they get there? Unsurprisingly, some of the most common culprits are frogs. These crafty croakers are amphibians, which means they like it in damp places. Ordinarily, you'd find them on the banks of a river or the edge of a pond, but if they find themselves in built-up areas, then the dampest place they can get to is likely to be your bathroom. Add that to the fact that the more unsavoury elements of a toilet tend to attract insects, which are frogs' favourite food, and your loo starts to look like froggy heaven. A newspaper in Florida advised residents to put mesh screens across their toilet vents and to turn off the bathroom lights that attract the insects and so the frogs. But if that doesn't work, you're in for a slimy surprise when you visit the bathroom in the dark. It's not just water lovers that occasionally seek refuge in the nearest S-bend though. Small mammals like squirrels and baby possums are sometimes found splashing around in the toilet bowl, looking slightly worse for wear. But by far the most common furry friend you're likely to find down there is the rat. I've made a whole other video here on Earth Unplugged looking at whether rats are truly friend or foe, and I'll leave a link in the description and at the end if you want to check it out. But however you feel about them, the toilet is probably the last place you want to discover one. In 2016, a man in County Cork, Ireland was bitten on the bottom by a rat, and residents were warned to keep their toilet seats down and to watch their posteriors. And pest control in Portland, Oregon reportedly get 10 to 15 calls about rats in toilets every year. In fact, although they don't have a physiological need to be by water like frogs do, rats are remarkably well suited to scrabbling around in our plumbing. It all begins with their curious nature. Rats are intelligent and inquisitive, so the only motivation they need to explore is their curiosity. Perhaps they'll find a new food source or a safe place to shelter. Starting out in storm drains and sewers, they have easy access to the waste pipes draining from our bathrooms. They've got sharp claws that helps them to dig in and climb nearly vertical pipes. In the maze of plumbing, some of the pipes the rats will encounter will be filled with water, but that won't slow them down. Rats are incredibly strong swimmers, using their back legs to paddle while their front legs and long tail are used to steer. They can tread water in this way for 3 days straight. And if they need to dive, they can hold their breath for up to 3 minutes. The truly remarkable thing about these raiding rodents is how they can contort their bodies to fit into the tightest of spaces. Because rats' rib cages are actually hinged at the spine. When compressed, they can simply fold back and out of the way. That means that anything they can get their head through, they'll be able to get their bodies through too. And navigating the twisting turns of your U-bend is a walk in the park for them. But while the rats in the toilet might be a surprise, they're possibly only the beginning of a bigger problem. Snakes will hunt rats as food, which means they might end up following them wherever they go, including your loo. In 2013, a man in Israel was bitten on the penis by a toilet snake, but all sorts of snakes have been found slithering through toilet pipes worldwide. Green snakes, common tree snakes, king snakes, carpet vipers, black snakes, and even pythons. A snake catcher in Brisbane in Australia told the BBC that he retrieves around 5 snakes from loos every year. Scary though this might be, it's still quite a rare and unlikely occurrence. Snakes are cold-blooded and they need to bask somewhere warm to give them the energy to hunt, which means that there's no pit of vipers lurking in the sewers waiting to slither up your S-bend. More likely, they took a trip from one toilet to another on the scent of a tasty meal and got lost along the way. I suppose it's little consolation that the snake is probably much more freaked out by finding itself wedged in your waste pipe than you are. The sad fact is that as our towns and cities spread out into these animals' homes, the more we will be finding them in ours. Do you have any tales of strange toilet visitors? If so, I'd love to read them in the comments below. And you can click here to watch my video on the ups and downs of being a rat, and click here to find out where our poo goes with Greg on our sister channel, Earth Lab. Give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.